and welcome to episode 9 of Nintendo Power Hour, Middle of Nowhere Gaming's all Nintendo podcast. Our very British host, Lucy Pallant, is out again. I believe she will be here next week, so I will be filling in as host again. I am the house elf myself, Aaron Dobby Dopey. And with me, we have the artist formerly known as our Nintendo Ninja, Luke Cantaldi.
How are you enjoying being host?
Oh yeah, I can't even deal with it. I don't know if you could tell last recording, but I was crying the entire time.
It's good. It's not a visual podcast. You don't actually see people.
I mean, my makeup was ruined. Oh man, if this was a visual podcast, people would be able to see this amazing Squid Sisters logo T-shirt I am wearing.
Yes, and they'd be able to see how much of a heartthrob I am.
Oh yeah.
The fact that I picked my nose during the podcast. Don't tell anyone.
All right, we will not edit that out. So how have you been doing, Lou?
Good. I moved into a new place, so that's fun.
Cool.
And that's really about it. I started off law school, and my gaming life has taken a small break, and I'm hoping to do a lot more this week.
Yep, that happens. Man, I haven't done a whole lot of gaming this week either. I've just been busy with work.
Right. But there's been a lot of news.
Yeah, so it sounds like neither of us have been playing a whole lot.
I can say I did play one thing a whole lot.
Okay,
what's
that?
Not Nintendo. We're just gonna have to overlook that. I played Until Dawn, which is PlayStation exclusive. Do you know the game?
Yeah, I do.
You're familiar with it? For those unfamiliar with it, it's basically every B-list horror movie in existence, and you start off with 6, 7 teenagers, high schoolers going off into a cabin in the woods to mourn the death of friends, and everything turns out to be haunted. So so all the stereotypes and all that. But then it takes some crazy turns, and it's really such a great thing. I don't think it reviewed nearly as well as it should have. And I'm still coming to terms with that. I'm trying to read the bad reviews and to figure out where it went wrong. But I fell in love with it. I highly recommend if people are multi-console gamers and own a PlayStation console that this is a game they try out, especially if they like horror games.
Yeah, sounds cool. As for me, I've pretty much played nothing except the occasional match of Splatoon.
Oh, they got a new gun today, didn't they?
Yeah, they got... Is it today?
Maybe. I don't know. It's something with Splatfest coming up soon.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple new guns either coming out... Either they came out today or they're coming out soon. I wasn't following it closely enough.
Right.
They did announce a official soundtrack was coming out in Japan.
You get all cool things.
Yeah, that's called a Splatoon, but tune is spelled Tune.
Those clever people. Very punny.
I wish that we got any official soundtracks at all in America.
We got the
from
Pokemon
Nintendo.
One on iTunes.
That's true. And thinking on it now, there was the whole Club Nintendo Smash Brothers soundtrack thing.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully we get a whole lot more because I am too much of a game music nerd to not have them.
Yeah, though, truth be told, I'm still waiting for... I don't know, I haven't played a Nintendo game that I've just been outstanding. I found any of the soundtracks outstanding yet for a long time. I can't even remember the last one where I was like, you know what, I definitely need the soundtrack for that. Maybe, Smash Bros. With Smash Bros. And Smash Bros.
What did you think of the Super Mario Galaxy soundtracks?
Oh, those were fantastic. Those were definitely worth it.
Yeah.
But those, what's the last time that came out? 2008?
2010 was Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Right.
All right. Yeah, sorry about that. We had to take a short break. Yeah. But we are going to move on now to talk about this week's Nintendo news. There's a fair bit of it this week, actually.
Yeah, there was a lot of really relevant Nintendo stuff.
So let's just jump in. First off, we are starting to see the first reviews for Devil's Third, and it is not doing very well.
It is very, very poor. I've only seen a couple of them, but like the one I did see was 3.5 out of 10, which is like a broken game.
That's about it. That's about it. All the reviews are hovering around there. Yeah, it seems like the biggest complaints about it are that it controls horribly, and it has a lot of good ideas that just fails to execute on them. It's got technical problems.
Right. It seems kind of ambitious for, I don't know. I realize now why they really haven't been pushing a lot of marketing to this. They probably have known for a while. Like last time we heard of the Devil's Third, it was that Nintendo was like dropping it, and people made an uproar, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we're publishing it." And I bet they were just going like, "Oh, god damn it, now we actually have to go through with this mess."
Yeah, it's interesting because it is reviewed poorly everywhere, but it seemed like everyone on Amazon Japan when it came out was giving it really good user reviews, and Amazon Japan is known for being ridiculously harsh.
Maybe it's a bit of market manipulation, maybe some corporate espionage.
It seems like a lot of people had gotten introduced to the third-person shooter genre, or the shooting games in general, via Splatoon, and then picked up Devil's Third and were enjoying it.
Right. Yeah, who knows? Are you going to pick this up by any chance?
It gets harder and harder for me to stay as cautiously optimistic about this title as I once was.
Right. Yeah.
That's about all I can say.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to discount it. I've enjoyed a lot of games that didn't review very well.
Right. And if most of the issue revolves around controls, then they still always do have that option of going in and patching things. I mean, it won't change the reviews, but a lot of these American sources, which still haven't reviewed it yet, can go in and give a fresh take on it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it is, but it sounds like these things are running really deep and aren't going to be really easy to patch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we shall see. It's not out until December 11th, so there's a bit of time left.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. You move on from that?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah. So we got a bunch of Pokemon-related news. First off, Pokken Tournament is indeed coming to Wii U, and it is indeed coming to America early next year.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Pokemon game. It's a fighting game in the style of Tekken, made by the Tekken developers at Namco, and it looks really fun.
Yeah, it does. I really enjoy what they're trying to do. I don't know how it's going to work in practice. I think there's a lot of fighting games that they have to compete with. It's not necessarily easy for someone to get in on that genre, but if there was a franchise to do that, I guess it'd be Pokemon.
That's like, that alone is going to be a huge draw.
Right.
Like, even me, I am not much of a fan of Pokemon, but I really like the design of the Pokemon and their design as things that fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
I just never really got into the games or the anime that much.
Right.
So I'm really interested in this as someone who enjoys fighting games and enjoys Tekken.
Right. Yeah. I think it's interesting that they didn't announce this right away. Like, why wait this long? Mm-hmm. People have been talking about it for so long that they want to see it on the Wii U. Maybe now, after all the interest has been brought up, they finally made the decision to go ahead with the Wii U version, or...
Yeah, it's possible. It's also a lot closer to early 2016 than it was when Pokken Tournament was first announced.
Mm-hmm.
So it could have just been a timing thing.
Yeah, it could be.
It would be a lot harder to maintain the hype.
Mm-hmm. But I think this is all around good news because Nintendo definitely needs a good fighting game.
Yeah, and related to this, the Pokemon Company said that this isn't the only thing that they're going to be talking about in early 2016 because they had previously been teasing announcements around that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there is some other things to look forward to.
Right.
In more Pokemon news, Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon is coming out November 20th on the 3DS, I believe.
Right. Yeah. I don't have a ton of opinions on this one.
Yeah, so this is a roguelike series. So it's an RPG. It's got randomly generated dungeons. The Mystery Dungeon series sort of lifts a lot of things from the classics like NetHack, but removes everything that made it difficult, and in my opinion, removes everything that made it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a huge fan of this series, but I know a lot of people who are. So.
Right. Yeah, it's one that just seems like it passed me by completely for unknown reasons. Because I love, by all means, I should really love this game. I love Pokemon. I love the style of game. I don't know. I think one day I'll pick it up and try it and really enjoy it, but this isn't my year. Yokai Watch is coming out, and that's my Pokemon game this year.
So, in Japan, Pokemon Shuffle has hit iOS and Android devices.
Mm-hmm.
And by all accounts, there are more microtransactions and more restrictions on the gameplay than there was in the 3DS version.
Right.
I don't know. Any thoughts on this?
I'm sure. I mean, not so much. I'm totally. I don't know if I've passed the card game phase. I was all into Hearthstone earlier, and I've been trying to do more card game things.
This isn't a card game, though.
Oh, wait.
No, this is the match 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the one where you grab a Pokemon face.
See, the shuffle thing threw me off, and I know they're doing trading card games. Match 3. Yeah, those definitely just aren't my games then. That's why it's totally passed me by.
Oh, man. Certainly, I don't really have anything against the match 3 genre. There are certain ones that I like a whole lot. Like, I really got into Puzzle and Dragons, Super Mario Brothers Edition.
Oh, I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah, that was really fun. Pokemon Shuffle, I tried it a little bit and bounced off it pretty quick.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think, is this officially licensed by Nintendo too?
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, I hope that Nintendo does more interesting stuff and less generic stuff when they put all their cards in for mobile coming soon. But
yeah,
this is a good, detour into something tried and true.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's pretty much made for mobile as it is, even on the 3DS.
Right. I think the next news article is it's not the most gaming related, but the most interesting thing of the week by far. And I've kind of been just staring at this because I didn't think we would talk about it, but you made the outline, and I'm so glad we are.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this. There was apparently a plot to cause a mass shooting at the Pokemon World Championships in Boston.
Rocket League is getting Rocket League. Damn it.
Team Rocket?
Team Rocket. I went Rocket League, then I was going to say Rocket Power. I'm like, damn, I cannot get my childhood Rocket stuff. Team Rocket's really getting crazy this time.
Sure. There were a couple of suspects who had apparently posted some stuff on Facebook. They had posted photos of some guns on the trunk of their car, saying that they were ready for World's Boston, here we come. Earlier in a chat room, one of the suspects was banned from a chat room and said something to the effect of, I will just shoot him on Friday, thanks. And then a bunch of people started notifying the police and the Pokemon Company, and they worked together, and police apprehended the culprits. Before they got to the event, they seized the car, and they didn't have a warrant, so they had to let the suspects go. And then when they got a warrant, they searched the car and found a bunch of guns and ammo in the trunk.
That is the loudest sigh I can possibly give. It's amazing. Amazing how ridiculous people are nowadays.
Absolutely.
Like, there's been a ton of awful news, and I don't want to downplay any of this, because, there's just some crazy people out there, and, people need to stay safe. But to be so disgruntled over Pokemon?
Yeah, exactly. What the hell?
Maybe I'm not in the culture to understand. Maybe this is these people's life. If it was, the sad thing is, if it were the international, I might understand more.
Would you? I don't.
When the stakes are $20 million or something, or something crazy like that, but not for this. I mean, that's still outrageous, I think.
Yeah, what would that gain you?
No,
you're not gonna win $20 million or whatever.
Right? No,
by going into a room and shooting people.
Yeah, no, I could just see where people would be more disgruntled. What is the worst that possibly happens at the end of a Pokemon thing where you think the option is, okay, now let me shoot people?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, and we're looking into the minds of crazy people, and it's impossible. Mm-hmm. But thank God, idiots post stuff online.
Thank God for that.
Right.
Thank God for swift action from the police and the Pokemon Company and the event organizers.
Yeah. All right. That's really bizarre and sad at the same time, and everything's awful. But let's keep moving on.
All right, so we're moving on from Pokemon stuff now. Talk about a couple more game releases or announcements. The first of which I care about a whole lot more than you might.
I guarantee.
So, Picross 3D 2 was announced for 3DS, coming to Japan October 1st.
So you think,
do you know what a Picross is?
You think I wouldn't care about this, but I am ecstatic. I love Picross.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm one of the maybe 10 people in the world who will sit down and actually be like, fuck yeah, Picross. I played the original, and that's how I got into it. And I've never played any of the Picross 3D ones, but I imagine they're as fun as any of the other.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. So for our viewers who do not know, a Picross is a pen and paper puzzle. You have this empty square grid, and along the edges of the grid there are these clues that tell you, that give you hints as to how to fill in the squares in that row or column. And by putting it all together, you can fill in certain squares, and if you do it right, you end up making a picture, like a little pixel art picture in that grid.
Yeah.
And Picross 3D is the same idea, except you sort of have a three-dimensional rectangular prism made up of cubes, and you follow the cubes to chisel out certain cubes to make a 3D voxel structure.
Right. And this has been, these games, this isn't something new by any means. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah, there were Picross games from Nintendo on the Game Boy and the Super Nintendo.
Right, I'm trying to find out. The oldest one I can find, and I guarantee there's older ones, but one published by Jupiter and Nintendo for Game Boy, which was just Mario's Picross.
Yeah, I think that is the earliest Nintendo one. I might be wrong, but Nintendo didn't invent the puzzle.
No, it's like Sudoku of sorts, almost.
Yeah, it takes very much the same sort of mindset as Sudoku.
Right.
It's a similar thing.
Is there any indication if it's going to come over on?
Nah, not at all. Unfortunately, much like the new Rhythm Heaven game, nothing has been said at all.
Right.
But man, the first Picross 3D I played a whole lot. That was one of the games that I kept picking up and doing a few puzzles every now and then, pretty much through all 4 years of college.
Right. Yeah, it's just a great formula for anyone who really likes sitting down and thinking while they play video games. And it sounds kind of weird to say that, but these are kind of mathematical puzzles that just are really fun, and there's nothing really as satisfying as that click when you finally get everything and it's all starting to come together. Yeah. Like almost like right at the end of playing a game of solitaire when you realize you're going to make it, you're going to make all 4 stacks.
Yeah, and I really like these sort of math logic puzzles as it is, but with a Picross or a Picross 3D, you have that added satisfaction of getting this cool picture that you made, or this cool 3D sculpture that you made
right
at the end of it, and that's really neat.
Definitely.
Okay, moving on from that, the Wii U eShop got a couple new games, one Nintendo 64 game and one Wii game. Those are Sin and Punishment and Sin and Punishment Star Successor, respectively.
Now, does Wii U have more N64 games than Xbox One yet? Because I know Xbox One is just holding that title and they're not giving it up.
Yeah, it's because of Rare Replay, right?
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's so yet, but these are a couple of really good games. The second one especially.
Mm-hmm.
I have gone on record saying that Sin and Punishment 2 was my favorite Wii game, and I keep second-guessing myself on that.
What's
keep going
the
back
runner-up?
and forth. The runner-up is Super Mario Galaxy 2.
That's a great game.
Yeah.
Totally off topic, but mine, I think if we're just throwing out favorite Wii games,
yeah, sure.
For some reason, mine's Super Paper Mario. It's not even the best Paper Mario. It's just I loved it for some reason.
That was one of the few games that actually got me to care a whole lot about the story. I don't usually, and it's so weird to get this from a freaking Mario game. Like, that game had a better plot than I think it deserved.
I think all the Paper Mario games, I think my favorite one by far is Thousand Year Door. And now we're just going on a total tangent, but I think that those are really some of the best games in Nintendo's catalog, and, just story-wise, gameplay-wise, character-wise, and they really don't explore it nearly as often as they should. It's kind of a tragedy that they don't have a Wii U one.
That's sort of what got me really sad about Sticker Star, when they pretty much threw out all the story.
Yeah, I'm just pretending Sticker Star doesn't exist.
Pretty sure the one character with personality in that game was Wiggler.
Yeah, though we are getting Paper Jam.
Yeah, that should be fun.
I keep forgetting that exists, and it's like a cross-fiction, crazy, daydream that I might have had in school. Like, oh, what are my two favorite Mario genres? I wonder what would happen or how I could mix them together. I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's, from what we've seen of it so far, it is very much a Mario and Luigi game more than it is a Paper Mario game.
Yeah.
But it should be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
But,
we just went
back to Sin
track.
and Punishment. Sin and Punishment are a series of rail shoot-'em-ups. Sort of like, they're shmups. You have your character. You can move anywhere you want on the screen on a 2D plane, but that 2D plane is moving like a roller coaster through a 3D environment filled with enemies, and you shoot into the background, and enemies in the background shoot back out at you.
Right.
Sort of like Space Harrier. Is that right?
That sounds right. I haven't played enough Space Harrier to tell you.
That's one of
the
earliest examples of the genre, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That was way back on the Mega Drive.
Right.
It's a lot of fun. It's really lengthy for a shmup, which might, at least the second one is. I know the second one a whole lot better than the first, but that might be a good or a bad thing.
Right.
If you're looking to just sit down and play through this game once, then maybe that's a good thing. If you're like me and you got really addicted to it and wanted to replay it over and over again, maybe you might wish it was a little shorter.
Right. Yeah. That's one I haven't gotten to, though I do want to eventually. There's just so many N64 classics that I haven't made it to. I'd never had an N64, and that's really my one weakness as a Nintendo ninja. But I always went and just stole my friends' N64s and stuff like that. Whatever it took to get by.
Yeah, hopefully we get a more steady flow of Nintendo 64 games on the Wii U.
Right.
And Wii games as well. I know in Japan they either have or are getting soon Trauma Team.
Oh, I've heard really great things about Trauma Team.
Yeah, that is probably the third in my top 3 Wii games right there.
Right. I just started playing Blast Corps.
Oh, yeah?
That is a gem. And I haven't played a game like it ever.
I haven't played that one myself.
It's a rare game where basically you just go around in a truck knocking down everything, and there's a atomic bomb, I think, that's going on a rail, and you just have to get all of the buildings out of its way or else it'll explode. It's
nice.
Yeah, it's just a lot of destruction. A lot of great destruction.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's move on to the next thing. Walmart is getting a exclusive Wii U bundle with Super Mario Maker and the Modern Color 8-bit Mario amiibo, all for $299.99.
Does it look any different? No, it's just the normal.
The console,
black.
no. The console is the normal black 32 gigabyte system.
That's a bit of a shame. They didn't say that this is the only way to get it, right? the normal Mario.
They didn't say one way or another. I think recent rumors and quote-unquote leaks seem to suggest that it will be coming out standalone as well.
Yeah, they did that last time with... I guess it wasn't exclusive to them. Was it the Mario Party?
Yeah, for a while, the Mario Amiibo, the Super Mario Brothers series Mario Amiibo was exclusive to the Mario Party 10 bundle, but it came out later by itself, and they announced that was going to happen.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking right now. I'm trying to find it. Mario Maker Classic Mario in the U.S. September 11th. Mario Maker Modern Mario September 11th. E/B. I don't know what that stands for. Exclusive and in a bundle. And they haven't announced otherwise when it's going to come out. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we know so far.
I know you're looking forward to Super Mario Maker.
I am. I'm going to go completely nuts. I was watching Kotaku videos all today.
Man, it is so hard for me to get work done this week because somebody somewhere is always streaming Super Mario Maker.
Right. Yeah.
And I really want to play it. Man, I saw this great video for Super Mario Maker today. So you know about the amiibo costumes, right?
Yeah. Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, you can tap in an amiibo, and you get a mystery mushroom. It's just a mushroom with a question mark, and when you pick it up, Mario turns into a different character. And you can put these in the levels you share online, and then when you upload them, other people can still get those costumes even if they don't have the amiibo.
Right.
So some people with the pre-release version have already been making levels online that just have all the different types of mystery mushrooms to show off all the different costumes.
Right.
Someone created and uploaded a level titled All Amiibo Costumes Unlocked with a smiley face. Pretty much just setting this up to be another one of those levels. But then you play it, and then Mario immediately gets stuck on a conveyor belt and can't move, and is helpless to do anything but watch as the music note blocks and enemies and sound effects above him play out Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley.
That was so well done. And the way it's able to do that, of course, is because you can set your own sounds to specific actions. So someone just masterfully crafted Never Gonna Give You Up. And it's, it's an old theme, but it was, I watched it and I just burst out laughing.
It was so good. And at the very end, you get forced onto the flagpole and Mario slides down. And then there's a spring after the flagpole which sends Mario into a box that reveals an actual mystery mushroom. But then Mario enters the castle before he can get it. So they tease you at the very end there.
It's that's one of my favorite. I also saw a couple of videos where it was those just all right, do nothing, and you'll beat the level. Or hold right and you'll beat the level. And that's kind of the stupid ingenuity that I really enjoy. Just watching people go all the way. The one I think specifically where they did nothing, it was amazing because the person was just falling down stuff and hitting springs and knocking enemies over, and the person just, I guess, put their controller down. I just love what people can do with this.
It's I just want to get my hands on it, and I want to see what people do, and I want to make my own stuff.
Right.
And oh boy, I shouldn't be looking forward to September 11th as much as I am.
Yeah. Odd choice of date, but whatever.
It's the Friday closest to Super Mario Brothers 30th anniversary.
Right. All I know is I'm gonna have a lot of fun that day, and it's gonna certainly it's, a historic day and, an infamous day, but I think it's good that Nintendo's bringing some cheer back to it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
All right. And got a couple more stories, I believe.
Yep. So, the people that somehow keep track of these things have noticed that Nintendo has filed an application for a patent for a home-based stationary game console without an optical disc drive.
Good.
Good?
That's my professional opinion. Good. I think that physical media, in the sense of a disc drive, I think it's slowing us down. I think that even now, I mean, discs are unruly. There's nothing necessarily on a disc anymore. Like, so much of what we have on discs is really like, oh, you put the disc in and we keep at 8 gigabytes on that, and then you got to install the other 10 online.
It's interesting because Nintendo hasn't really done much of that.
Yeah, but the more that you get, like, this is Nintendo's first foray into HD. The more they go into it, the more that's going to be the case. I mean, it's been fine enough for them to put out Super Mario Bros. U and other smaller games like Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker HD, which are just, upscaled ports or, low concept, low memory taking stuff. But if they actually want to move and do like something big, if they want to do, I don't know how much memory the new Zelda U is going to take, or if they ever decide they want to do like a full-fledged Metroid game. That's going to take up a lot. And physical media is kind of not necessarily supportable, I think, as it keeps going and as the memory spikes. And also, discs suck. I'm just going to put it out there. I mean, there's so many other better forms of way to hold storage. Like, why don't we just use SD cards at this point? Or like some sort of proprietary card of that sort. But like, discs are cheap, and I get that, but they also scratch and they also get dusty and dirty, and there's nothing necessarily great about them besides the fact that they're cheap.
Yeah, indeed, in this patent, it denotes that the system would be able to read and store data to SD cards.
Right.
It also says like games would be installed to the hard disk in the console. You can download games to the console.
Mm-hmm.
It seems that there's some cool things in here, some sort of technical details, but there's something interesting about the system being able to emulate different read-write speeds for the hard disk, primarily for games that would be optimized for disks that write at that speed.
Right.
And that suggests to me that they're thinking about backwards compatibility still.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that it'd be a shame for them to give up on Virtual Console, or when you say backwards compatibility, I mean, you mean the Wii U?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be crazy to throw away. Like, we're what, like 5 years in, 4 years in? Maybe less.
Something like that, yeah.
And they're going to need a way to say, oh, well, don't worry, your games are still safe. You can still play your games. Which might not be a case if it was a 10-year life cycle like the PS3 or something, because people are so sick of their games by that point. But for the few games that I actually did purchase, Smash Bros, I'm going to want to play that forever. Mario Kart, I'm going to want to play that forever until the next one comes out. Yeah, though, how would they do that without an optical drive?
That is an interesting question, but having the patent to do this doesn't necessarily mean that it will be the only option.
No, they could. I mean, that's how patents work, of course. Is they don't have to follow through with any of this. They could just sit on it. Which, maybe they do, maybe they don't do. Maybe they file this as a red herring, but probably not, because patents cost, tens of thousands of dollars.
Right. I wonder how viable it is to release an app for, say, the Wii U that will connect to your new NX console and read a game disc and install it to your NX's hard drive.
That would be difficult. I think it might be more likely that it actually just streams footage. Like, you can... I don't exactly know how it would work, but, like, you would stream the gameplay straight onto your TV from your Wii U. Or straight to the NX, but
why?
Not that it'd be great, but I think it's difficult to unlock games via CD and bring it over to Wii U. Like, Xbox hasn't even figured this out yet, so that's why I'm concerned, because for Xbox backwards compatibility, I was like, oh, okay, it's easy enough. You insert a game, you get it for free, you download it, and you just play it. But it turns out, I tried it with Viva Pinata, I think. If you have the disc, you have to have the disc to play it and run it. If you have, if you downloaded it and you bought it, then you're fine. You could just play it off it. So maybe it's only digitally supported stuff. Who knows? I mean, it's a big headache, and I think this entire console is a big headache for Nintendo, but they'll find a way to work with it.
Yeah. One more sort of interesting tidbit in here is that games for this console would be able to support multiple different configurations. Like, the games would be able to be run in several modes, and the particular mode that is run would be determined by the hardware. This has a lot of shades of what Nintendo was talking about, of NX sort of being more of a platform and being something that involves, like, one game being able to be played on multiple devices.
Yeah, when I read it, I thought, Fusion console, where it's the game running on the TV screen, and the game, you take it as the portable, and you walk it. But I think your interpretation's equally viable. That's the thing, is with these patents, they can be so unclear, and they are so unclear. You really don't know exactly what they mean, and I'm sure we'll have an idea soon.
Oh, I totally missed this on my first pass, but the patent actually specifically mentions a controller with a screen.
Yeah.
This, I suppose, more than anything, that lends more credence to backwards compatibility with the Wii U.
Right. It matters how big the screen is, though, and do they mention touchscreen?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm reading a summary here. I don't have the text of the patent itself in front of me.
Right. I'm not sure the patent itself may possibly be in Japanese. I gotta check. Because I think this is a reprint of the Japanese patent from February, or March, or May, or April. Which has just been, because patents are published, that's the whole point of the patent. At least that's what they tell me in my patent class.
I mean, this is a U.S. patent, isn't it?
Yes, I think in the sense that how all patents kind of work is when it's patented somewhere, from what I understand, don't follow any of my legal advice here. How patents work is if it's patented somewhere in the world, then you can apply that patent to other countries. So if they patented in Japan, then they can basically convert that over to a U.S. patent too.
Okay.
Because they have the ownership rights over it, and no one else in the U.S. can say, oh, well, I saw it in Japan, that another company was doing it, so I'm stealing it. Like that, it just goes against the policy because the whole idea of a patent's there to, grant monopoly ownership for inventors. But that is your small legal lesson of the day.
Yay! Actually, I found an image, at least from this patent, and the controller has a display unit, and that's all it says.
Yeah, no notice on how big it is or any of that.
Yeah.
So it could be anything.
I don't know.
I'm going to be really interested to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I think we might have to wait a little while.
I don't think too long, though. They said...
Yeah, not too long.
They said definitely at E3.
Right. Maybe before then. Who knows?
That actually brings us into something that I want to discuss in the next one. In the next story.
Okay, so let's move on to that. Got a kind of neat surprise today. A Twitter account belonging to a particular game store in the UK seems to have accidentally leaked that a Shovel Knight amiibo is coming and will be available for pre-order.
Right.
And this is not a Smash Brothers Shovel Knight amiibo, so this isn't a confirmation of Shovel Knight as a Smash Brothers character. But everything seems to check out. It seems to be legit. Like they tweeted out this story with a picture of the packaging and the pose and its original artwork and original pose. They say it's going to be pre-orderable in store tomorrow.
I think it's actually
out November 27th. Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm looking at the amiibo at Game's official website. Game, of course, is like the what I've heard is the European GameStop.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm on the site right now. You can add it to basket with free delivery.
Awesome. So yeah, there it is. It's happening. This might be what Yacht Club Games meant by Nintendo exclusive content. That wasn't what we're expecting.
No, but you gotta imagine it does something in the game too, which I'm super excited about. Because it gives me a reason to go back. I wonder how this is going to unlock stuff or what it's going to unlock, because I imagine they're just going to port things in soon.
Yeah, the original image that was tweeted by Game says that the Shovel Knight amiibo will work with Nintendo products that Yacht Club Games creates in the future. I imagine it's got to work with Shovel... Oh yeah, it also mentions Shovel Knight specifically. Shovel Knight for Wii U and Nintendo 3DS will have some exclusive content tied to this amiibo.
Right. So one thing I want to bring up, and I wanted to bring it up with the last one too, was this is normally the kind of news we'd hear on a Nintendo Direct. But we haven't gotten a Nintendo Direct. And that, I'm sure this is very much to do with Satoru Iwata, because he was really the face of Nintendo Directs, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. I still think it would be weird to have it without him, or even without without Nintendo's president, because I think that's still kind of uncertain at the moment.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was expecting the next Nintendo Direct to be soon or have happened by now, and just have been hosted by Bill and Reggie.
Right.
But Then Picross 3D2 was announced without a Nintendo Direct in Japan, and then there was that press release that Nintendo dropped that had a bunch of release dates and amiibo stuff.
Right. So what exactly is happening? How are they going to start delivering the Nintendo message? Because that's really when Nintendo was at their best, was during Nintendo Directs. I'm kind of like, it makes me a little worried in a way I don't want to feel about Nintendo. I feel like that was one of Iwata's stronger points, and he certainly brought the message together that way.
Yeah. My expectation is that we will not be getting another Nintendo Direct until Nintendo names a new president, and the new president will introduce himself to us through that Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, these little mini videos are just way too well received, and they worked way too well. I can't see them just dropping them now.
Right, because that's almost, unanimous across the board, and that's also why people like Iwata was so popular and so beloved by fans, was because of that one-to-one interaction, or seemingly one-to-one interaction. So it would be a shame for them to let go of that because of Iwata, and I'm sure that he wouldn't want that legacy to be exclusive to him. So
yeah,
hopefully this makes a comeback, and they have, the other thing I was thinking, maybe they just don't have anything new to announce. Maybe they're just waiting until the NX, but
they did, though.
Exactly. Shovel Knight,
that's the thing.
Amiibo seems substantive. Like, I can't remember the last time they announced an Amiibo without fanfare.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bunch of Amiibo news released. They could have made something out of that, and like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the Sin and Punishment, and then maybe the Shovel Knight Amiibo as well. Like, that would have filled out Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, it could have been a short 10, 15-minute one of those, funny ones where you wake up in the morning and it just happens to be there, where they announce it like a few hours beforehand.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of, I hope that it's something that gets fixed soon.
Yeah. Again, I think it will. I think that it's gonna be a little while longer.
Right.
All right. I think this is a good place to wrap up the news for the week. So our last segment, as usual, is about the book club assignment, which is Wario Land 3 on the Game Boy Color. But neither Lou or I have played a whole lot of this week. I know, Lou, you were busy with moving.
Right.
And didn't get much of a chance. Again, I had already beat the game, and I'm just going back to it every now and then, trying to pick up all the music coins and get some good times on the time attack. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to say that we didn't say last week, and I think we did go about as far as we can without spoilers last week.
Yeah. Yeah, I really don't have much else to say. I'm getting blown up right now by Nintendo's Twitter. Weirdly enough, I get hints whenever, or like mobile pushes whenever they do something. It's weird that they're so active right now at night at what's 12:26 in the eastern part of.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's their Nindies at Night event at PAX.
Oh, okay. Now that everything makes a lot of sense, because I'm like, what the hell are they doing at 12:26?
Yeah, that's going on in Seattle right now.
Okay. All right. The world's at peace in my mind. Yeah, so Wario Land 3, I don't have much else to discuss. We're going to get to the spoiler episode soon. I just recommend everyone go play it. Really, it's going to be worth. It's definitely worth your money, but it'll be worth your time just hearing the more informed opinion when we could spoil things.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this is a game that does not require a huge time commitment. If you know what you're doing, it's less than a 10-hour game. For your first time, it'll probably be a little bit more than that.
Right.
So, yeah, even if you jump in now, you should be able to get a good way through it before the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think, that's about all we have to say, so we're going to wrap this up. This was Nintendo Power Hour, Middle of Nowhere Gaming's all Nintendo podcast, but of course, it is not our only podcast. We have the main Middle of Nowhere Gaming podcast, and lots of gaming news and reviews over at middleofnowheregaming.com. You should check us out there. We are also on Facebook at Middle of Nowhere Gaming. We are on Twitter at mong.com, all spelled out. We are on YouTube, Middle of Nowhere Gaming. You'll find all these links in the video description below. But where can we find you at, Lou?
You can find me at Lou Cantaldi.
And I am at rcrush on Twitter. And that's all we got.
Yeah. What are you going to do now? What's up for the rest of your night? Let's give the listeners something to think about.
I am going to fill up my water bottle and drink it, and then I am going to sleep.
Nice. Yeah. I'm going to go get some disco fries, better known to many other people practically as poutine.
Oh, yeah. I love poutine.
Yeah, disco fries.
I'm a good Canadian boy.
I think there's something different. Like, you guys use cheese curds, right?
No, poutine is, or at least as I know it, poutine is fries and gravy.
But what about the cheese? I thought there was supposed to be cheese.
Yeah, there's cheese on it as well, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what we have, except I guess in New Jersey it's like mozzarella cheese on top. But it's the exact same thing, and it's awesome, and I'm starving, and it's 12:30, and we have diners that are open till 4 in the morning. So that's our post-game cravings talk, our post-podcast cravings.
Well, you have fun. I want to get on the bus to Dreamland.
Okay. Have a good night. Good night, listeners.
Yeah, you too. Good night, everyone. Mong.
Mong.